Hello, this is Hard2 Software. Today we'll be taking a look at the main.c program we worked on last time. Our goal is to understand the meanings of tokens, which include words and special symbols. The first line, shop include stdio.h, is a directive that tells the program to include the stdio.h file. A C program is composed of .c and .h files. H files are header files, while the C files are source files. The sharp symbol signifies previously. When a C program is being created, it goes through a pre-processing phase, during which things that need to be handled beforehand are specified. This symbol can be used alongside things like define or if-diff. Not only stdio.h, but other header files can also be included. The purpose varies based on the name of the header file. The stdio.h file contains a collection of functions for standard input and output. It's a file provided by the C language standard, not something we wrote ourselves. Let's take a look inside the stdio.h file. Place the cursor on the stdio.h and select Go to Definition, or we can press F12. Let's see if printf function is present. Since we included the stdio.h file to use the printf output function, here we have printf. We also see other output functions like sprintf or vfprintf. And if we move upwards, we can find more instances of header file inclusion. Generally, source files handle implementation and definition, while header files handle declaration. We will dive deeper into declaration and definitions in upcoming lessons, but for now, knowing that there's a difference is sufficient. So when you say shop include stdio.h, it means to include the contents of the stdio.h file during compilation. The printf in the middle is a function. A function, like what you learn in math, is a piece of code involving input and output. For example, if there's a function called rotate that takes a shape as input and rotates it by 45 degrees, the output would be the shape rotated by 45 degrees. Let's consider another example. Let's assume we have a function called change color that changes a blue rectangle to yellow rectangle. If we provide a blue rectangle as input, we'd obtain a yellow rectangle as output. When passing inputs to functions in C, we use parentheses. So printf, awesome Hard2 software, means passing the string awesome Hard2 software to the printf function. The output of this function is printing the input string to the screen. So if we change the input like this, we get a different output. And there's one more function. The inputs of a function are passed through parentheses, as we mentioned, the main function with parentheses is indeed a function. Main is a special function, as there should be only one in a program, and it's a starting point of the program. When a program runs, it always starts from the main function. The input for the main function are specified as void, meaning no input. Although there are no inputs, there is an output. Return 0 signifies the function's output, returning 0. And then there are statements. Both printf and the return statement should end with semicolon. The end of the statement is marked by a semicolon. Statements include function calls, value returns, variable declaration, and more. Braces define blocks of code. The actions of the main function are defined within braces. Thus, inside the braces, we define what the main function should do. In this case, the main function is defined to print a string and return 0. Braces have an essential role in defining function behavior and constructing code blocks. By now, you might have noticed something ambiguous. Both main and printf are functions, but their forms are different. This is because printf is being called as a function, while main is being defined as a function. In function definitions, we specify what the function does inside the curly braces. On the other hand, when using functions, we only need to consider their inputs and outputs regardless of their internal operations.